Gather around, I gotta tell you. If I haven't met all of you, I apologize. I'm Mike Bennett, senator down here. I know most of you here. But I gotta tell you, today's a great day. It really is. Not only do we have the future governor of the state of Florida with us, we also have the majority leader of the Florida House of Representatives. They've been traveling around the state trying to tell their story. And the other side seems to be wanting to avoid their story. So we thought we'd have somebody in the Bradenton who actually can tell their story. So I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna go on and on about Bill. I've known him for 10 years since I got elected. I knew his record before that. And I think that you all know his record. You would be standing out here in our wonderful shade today. Going to a ball game, I really do. I want to thank everybody for coming out. And I would like to introduce you to my good friend, Bill McCollum.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Mike Bennett. I want to thank Senator Bennett for this today. We're out here on the bus tour. This is the last stop of what we've had a great 4 days. We started by going up to Jacksonville, Nassau County, Daytona Beach, back down here into this country. We're in Merritt Island in Brevard County. We went to the Freedom Concert last night over in Orlando, which is a great show. That's the Hannity show, you know, Raleigh North and all. Wonderful concert. And over to St. Petersburg and down here today. It's just been a great tour. I want to thank all the volunteers that come out today. Our chairman who's here. Yeah, hey! And yeah, well, we ought to say thank you to all of you. And our veterans chairman. But most of all, just because you've come. I know several of you come from Venice, so it's a little distance to come up here. Harry, thank you, sir. Thank you. We are very, Cynthia, where is Cynthia? Cynthia, somewhere. I'm singling out people I shouldn't do because every one of you are here doing this. Let me tell you where you are right now, just so you know. And this wife of mine, who I couldn't do without her, let me tell you. Ingrid's been on the bus tour with me. You've heard me give a speech, and we're going to give something very short since it's hot out here. But the race is about something other than me. Ingrid and I have been married 38 years. We have 3 sons, we have 2 grandsons, we have another on the way. This race is about our children and our grandchildren and making Florida a better place for them. And I say that everywhere I go, and that's what I mean. It's about the future of Florida. It's not about electing me as an individual. I'm proud of the record that I have, though. And I know that we're talking about 2 things, policy and records. As far as policy is concerned, the #1 job I have as your next governor is to get jobs, get the private sector creating jobs again. We need to have people who work, and we know how to do that. And I have a plan that you all have heard me talk about, some of you, to create 500,000 jobs over the next 6 years that Steve Forbes vetted with me, and we put out April 15th. And I will tell you that I am confident that if we do this plan that involves reducing certain key taxes and reducing regulations on small businesses and giving us the tools to go and recruit businesses to move here, to move their headquarters, to move their production facilities, particularly high-tech, biotech, and aerospace jobs, then we're going to do this. This plan isn't with gimmicks. This is a very straightforward plan to do it. Reducing the corporate income tax from 5.5% to 4.5%. That's a 20% reduction. Giving a special tax exemption, completely exempting the sales tax on certain equipment necessary for high-tech, biotech, and aerospace. And I'm not going to go into the details, but the point is you can go up to BillMcCollum.com on the website, and you're going to find out the #1 issue facing our state we address. And I'd like to have seen my opponent come forward and let us address more of the real issues rather than the things that have happened in this big TV ad campaign he's done. I'd like to be talking more about education, which I do, and you can find that on the website. That's critical to our state. About water, about insurance, about property taxes, about any number of things. But instead, we've been talking about some of the things he's put up. And what it's come down to is this. The election is not just about policy, it's about a real choice in another area. And that's about leadership, character, integrity, honesty, who you trust. You know me. You know my Ronald Reagan conservative record. I was elected with him to Congress in 1980. I'm proud of my service in Congress. I'm proud of what we've done together. I was there for the Reagan tax cuts. I was there for the fall of the Berlin Wall. I was there in 1994 when we took control of Congress. I helped write 4 of the contract with America planks that we won a majority on, and I was there in Congress when we had the last balanced budget. It was a balanced budget when I left the U.S. Congress in 2000. And I will tell you, I'm proud of my record as Attorney General in fighting cyber predators, in educating our kids in the public schools to protect themselves from these cyber predators on the internet, and setting up these gang task forces and the gang strategy to fight gangs. And I know in Manatee County, particularly here in Bradenton, that's been really important. Our statewide prosecutor has worked with your state's attorney, and we've prosecuted and taken down 3 major gangs in this community since I've been Attorney General, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of our efforts in the office to fight mortgage fraud and Medicaid fraud, and most recently, I'm very proud of our team. As you know, 7 minutes after he signed it, I filed a lawsuit in federal court to have Obamacare declared unconstitutional. And even more, and we're going to win that. That is the most significant lawsuit in my lifetime, and it will be the most significant decision by the United States Supreme Court on the rights of people versus the federal government and the rights of states versus the federal government. And I believe it will wind up being a 5-4 decision, but the founding fathers never intended what this Congress has done, and we're going to win that lawsuit. The other thing that's happened this week connected to that, as you know, despite what my opponent spent a lot of money trying to say, I support the Arizona immigration law, and I have filed a brief in support of it in court to defend its constitutionality. And this past week, I joined Representative Snyder and others in supporting a proposed new legislation for Florida that would bring some of Arizona's law here in an Arizona-style immigration law. And the reason we need this law is because we have too many drug dealers from Mexico, illegals coming here in our state. They match up with these gangs. That's where the gangs, like in this county, get their drugs from. The retail outlet for drugs in our state, cocaine, are these gangs that are here. And they get their drugs from Mexico and from illegals. And the proposed legislation we have will give new tools, different tools than just what Arizona's law has done. But we also will need the Arizona law to give the important part about that to police officers to require them when they have reasonable suspicion somebody's illegal and they actually arrest somebody or they stop them and they look and they see they don't have a driver's license, they're going to be required to check to see if they're legal. Now, having said all of that, here's the difference and here's the choice. So it just comes down to this very clearly today. I have this record I'm really proud of, and Rick Scott's running for this record. And he's run from it again and again. And he's run from it when somebody's come out and said, most recently, reporters have said, how about telling us about this deposition you took 6 days before you filed? How about releasing it to the public? He has yet been unwilling to do that, even though the doctor in that lawsuit that he settled after he filed has said, fine, I'll waive confidentiality, everything can be public. But there are actually 10 cases, and Scott will not come forward and tell us. I don't think it's wrong, they're not. But the allegations were fraud, very much like the fraud that was committed at Columbia HCA while he was there. And I think it's the fact he's not answering the questions right now, and our records are much different. I've got a clear one you can measure me by. You only have his slick ads, and you have what he's been saying, on TV, and the millions of dollars of things that are not truthful about me. And then you, of course, got his only other thing, his business record at Columbia HCA, which is very tarnished. That was the most massive Medicare fraud rip-off of taxpayers, senior citizens, and veterans in history. We have a veteran leader here today, and I have a son who's currently on active duty, a West Point graduate, captain we just talked to today in the Army. I'm a Navy veteran. My dad is still living, 95 years old, a World War II veteran. And if you really what Scott did. He took money that belonged to veterans, TRICARE, not just Medicare and Medicaid, and they charged more to those programs than what they actually did by far. Thousands of cases, and in the event, over 50 hospitals rated. And the issue really now is he's still doing that with this company, and we really don't know. But again, you know me, you know who I am, and we're going to win. Now, the last point to you all, this hot afternoon, we're hitting the polls. We're going to win this election. We're going to win. And we're going to win thanks to you. You're on the phones this week. He'll outspend me again this week. I don't have any doubt about it. But those of you who are working to get those voters out, to tell them about our race and the difference between myself and Rick Scott are going to make the difference in this race. Ingrid and I know that. And then in November, I'm going to win, and I'm going to be Florida's next governor. I guess at the end of this bus tour, I just got to thank everybody. I know the folks that put the bus together did a great job with it. I want to thank my whole team today, and I especially want to thank you. In this, 38 years together, I couldn't be doing it without you. Now, anybody have a quick question, or should we mix and mingle? It's hot out here, so you come out and spend a lot of time at a hazard.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to find out if it's possible for you to take serious effort in making sure that domestic trade between Puerto Rico and Florida is going to be a great priority.
You bet it is.
I'll tell you what, I am very concerned with all the fruits and vegetables coming in to our states from South and Central America and leaving our agriculture in Puerto Rico almost depleted. And we are losing so many farms in Puerto Rico, and that is we have already over 1 million Puerto Ricans in the state of Florida consumers.
Well, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico is part of us. We have this very unique relationship, and I have a very large Puerto Rican contingent as my constituents in Orlando when I was a congressman. I spent a lot of time in Puerto Rico, and Governor Fortuna and I are buddies. So I will do everything I can as governor to promote better relations with Puerto Rico. I also will with the rest of Latin America. It's a huge issue for us down there. We got this guy Chavez, who's a real tyrant. We have on the other hand now President Santos, and before him Uribe in Colombia. We're great friends. We should have that Colombia Free Trade Agreement. And as governor, I will speak out on Latin American issues to the nation. Florida is the gateway. Puerto Rico is part of us. Puerto Rico is also part of the gateway. Any other question here? Thanks for the letter. I understand. Oh, I recognize you. Thank you. I got the letter. We got it. I think it's a little warm for us to stand out here and answer a lot of questions, but if you got anything else, I will take it. Any other quick question? If not, thank you very much for being here. We're going to win. We're going to win.